Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Supernatural Talk. Linda, were you good? I saw you switched to your computer briefly.
I was going to. I think it's fixed. So, we can try it.
Well, whatever works for you. At least you got good quality on your phone.
We can stay with my phone. It's not a problem.
Just plug it in. 2 hours is a long time for those phones.
It is.
See, that's why I always got to make sure everything's charged up if I have to use my phone. You guys know all too well when when my batteries are getting close to being dead. So, anyways, we have another very special guest tonight. We got Linda Birds, which, Linda, first off, I got to say, I know we spoke a long time ago, so it's definitely been quite a long time.
It has.
Last time I saw you, was that Perry Unity a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
At least.
Yep, it was at Perry Unity.
Can't believe it's already been like 2 years since that event.
Go back every year.
Yep. So, but anyways, Linda, let's get right down to business. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm Linda. I am a paranormal historian. I'm 31. I have 3 beautiful children. So I've done the history and research on over 200 different locations across the U.S. And now, as of probably next month, I'm going to be expanding into overseas.
So what is your favorite one that you've done so far?
My favorite one, there's more than I have more than one favorite, honestly. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, the Winchester House are a couple of my favorites, but my all-time favorite would be the Waverly Hills.
That's all. Yep, that's obviously a famous among many others. That's also a favorite of mine as well.
Just the history on, when it first was built compared to what it ended up being, that transition is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
You guys realize 2 years from now is when Waverly will turn 100 because it was built in 1926.
Yep.
So it's almost to 100 years now.
Still standing pretty good as far as the structure. Of course, the upkeep inside is going to be a lot more than, it's going to take a lot of money for that. But the structure's holding up well.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Doing a haunted house there this year. They used to do it all the time.
Yeah, usually they did, but I'm not sure either because now that it's getting close to Halloween, I would have expected that, like some of these other haunted places do, that I would have expected they would have already started setting up the haunted house for parts of the building.
Right. Yeah, well, it's only like the bottom floor, and it's only like 3 of the rooms from what I remember. This was 20 some years ago. We won't go that far. It was a long time ago. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
So that is definitely a good one to research. That takes a long time for that one. That's not one and done.
Damn it, Chad.
I actually started doing the research and looking up different locations when I was 13, and I'm 31 now. So.
Yeah, no, I did not do that. I got put in that position to do that for a team when I first started. It was interesting. I really liked it, but now just because I don't want to know the history before I go in. That way it doesn't alter my thinking as I'm in. So, but I do want to know afterwards.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, Linda, that's actually... Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
So when I had L&L Paranormal Investigations, I would do the history on the location or try to do the history of the location beforehand, only because it was more of a safety thing. So I would know, do I need to, protect myself more than what I normally do? Because, with my 3 kids, because you never know if there's going to be something attaching to yourself. So that's the only reason why. But more of the history and research is more of my passion than actually investigating. So,
Yeah. So did you tell your team the history before you went in?
yeah. I told them not all the history. I just told them, hey, by the way, this is what I found in my research, and this is what it was said. So just be careful, be mindful.
Yeah. We the last thing we did was the last real thing we did was a abbey here in Colorado. It was built for the Pope, for his vacation home, holiday home, whatever they wanted to call it. Of course, it did not turn out to be that, and it turned out to have a lot of turmoil in the process. But
Hey, Scott.
it was, hey, it
Hi.
was interesting. It was there was a lot of nuns and monks lived there. There was a nun's house, and of course the monks. And I think the weirdest thing was that there was a place where they would sit down and eat down in the basement. And they would have their food down in the cellar type thing, and it was just like, ugh. But this big hole in the wall that they stored meat and different things, they would store the dead bodies until spring, because you can't puncture the ground in the mountains in the snow when it's frozen. You're not going to get a body in it. So these people sat and ate next to their friends that were deceased all year long.
So kind of like the Randolph County Asylum, if you think about it, because Randolph County Asylum, their cafeteria and where the men and women would eat while they were there is down in the basement, and just down from that, and if I'm not mistaken, like right next door is where they would store the food, and when the plague or whatever, I can't remember what disease it was, whatever, went through Randolph County, they would store the dead bodies there. So
I can't imagine having my friends stored with my food. Nope.
Either would I.
Couldn't do it. Don't tell me about it.
Yeah, no. So yeah, that's kind of no. I just no.
Then again,
Can't do it.
we're spoiled. In this day and age, we're spoiled. Back then,
Very much.
they were lucky to have food, and I'm
Right.
sure they got past what was in there with it, as long as they got that food. So yeah, we're spoiled. And we were just talking about that in the 10 seconds I got to talk to my husband between the upstairs, shutting off my computer from work, and coming down. But we got a new oven yesterday. New. Not new.
We just got a new oven a few weeks ago.
Well, and you've been here. The upstairs oven is gas. It's perfectly fine, but we cook downstairs. Well, our oven caught on fire.
Oh.
that little the element that you see turn red when you turn it on, it had a little flame come up, and I thought, I didn't spill anything on this. What is going on? And as soon as I shut the button off, it went away. So I knew it was not grease fire. I thought, what is going on? I told my husband, I said, I got to get back to work, but I don't know what's going on. He turns it on. He said, there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm like, well, what do you mean nothing's wrong with it? I said, okay, that's fine. I'll go with nothing's wrong with it. Well,
I knew Jan was thinking, because she said totally jelly. I'm thinking, what the
well,
hell is she
I had
talking
to
about?
call her.
Fellas. The new oven.
I had to get specifics, okay? Because so we had to get rid of this oven. So we go to Habitat for Humanity. Anytime we can shop there, we do, because not only is it helping people, it's cheap. And for a basement oven, I don't care. And found an oven, had to go 4 towns away. Found an oven for $19. at Habitat for Humanity. And I'm like, they were 150 here. What's wrong with the oven? They're like, it's been here a while. I don't know. Okay, let's see if it works. Took it home. I'm looking at this thing. I plug it in. All kinds of lights light up. I'm like, what is going on? The manual is inside of it. It's made in 2000.
Oh man, no.
No, it's made in 2004.
Oh,
And the manual's
boy.
still in it. I'm like, counting years here. Oh boy. It's a convection oven where it's got the fan that blows from the back, or you can turn it to where it doesn't blow in the back. And
Yeah.
it's got the 4 burners, but one of them over here has big one, and then you could do center or little. You can do any of them. It's got the warmer thing on the back part. $19. I'm going, something ain't gonna work. Something ain't gonna work. Turning everything on, and Jen's trying to tell me how to can using that oven and what it's for and how to, and we were talking about, we're spoiled. We are absolutely spoiled because I had no idea how to even use this thing. I'm looking at this manual and it's not making sense. So I'm talking to her going, what is that?
She said she was excited about your oven.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to be having some conversations when it comes time to do some canning. We're going to have some conversations, but we are spoiled. We're absolutely spoiled. We were looking online and people are talking about this fan is just too loud on this oven. You got a damn fan in that thing. Shut up. I mean, would you rather go outside and cook where it's nice and loud? Come on, people. Let's stop this. But yeah, I'm on the thing of we're spoiled. We're spoiled.
Canning the easy way.
Yeah, you just pick a day when I get all the stuff, and we will stay on the phone for 12 hours, and we'll find out how easy it is. Yeah, better yet, just come down here. Just come on. That'll be a whole lot easier.
Linda, I gotta say, by the way, I mean, like all this stuff. Yeah, she said, oh, like real quick. Yeah, she said she'll just drive up.
Yeah, that's probably a whole lot easier. Show me. Don't tell me, show me.
So what I was gonna say was, oh wait, hang on. Now what did Jeremy just say?
He said, ask about Para-Unity this year.
Yeah, you're going to be going to Para-Unity this year, if that's correct.
Yes, I am actually. Yep.
And are you going
to?
What's on your necklace?
Which one?
I don't know. I was trying to see you.
So I'll talk about Para-Unity in a moment. So I wear 2 different necklaces. This one has my boyfriend's version of a promise ring, which is the key to his heart.
Okay.
A tiger's eye pendant that I had just recently had wrapped because it broke.
Oh.
And then one of my protectors, my dog Phoenix, her ashes in here.
Okay.
And then on this one is, they really need to be cleaned. One of the very first pieces that my boyfriend ever picked out for me. Well, 2 of the very first pieces. This one says firefighter's girlfriend, and then my grandfather's ashes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice. That's really well done.
So
yeah, I just saw those and I was like, oh, cool. Those are cool. What are they?
Thank you.
I'm just gonna say real quick, I'm surprised you're not wearing something with Jack Skellington on it either.
I do have pendants of Jack Skellington. I have nerve damage in my neck, so I had to lessen the load because I had like so much on my neck at one time. So I just picked the 6 pieces that meant the most to me and put them on 2 different chains, and it's just felt right ever since. So
Awesome.
That's really awesome. Oh, and Adrian, real quick, Tom said, don't try to use an air fryer.
never tried. Don't plan on it. My dad owns one, so he can use it, not me.
I have one of those. I love dehydrating in it, and it's got all kinds of settings on it. But I have so many tools, gadgets, and crap that it's taking up space because I just do everything the old-fashioned way anyway. It doesn't matter. I don't know why I keep them. I don't.
I'm old-fashioned. I don't like all these new high-tech gadgets. If I can't, nope. I mean, I might have like an actual deep fryer. That's about it, because me and my kids love eating some mozzarella sticks. So
Oh yeah, and those in an air fryer do not work. All the cheese comes out.
you got to get it to the right temperature.
Yeah, I don't even have time for all that crap. I'm gonna deep fat fry it, and this is why, I'm gonna deep fat fry it. Okay, tell us about Para-Unity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut up.
Para-Unity.
So Para-Unity this year is going to be on October 19th. This is my 4th year attending, my 2nd year on the committee. We got some really great things in store. We got a couple of guest speakers. We have costume contests. We have trick-or-treating. I believe, I want to say, I haven't looked through the chat for about a day or so, actually, because I've been trying to move and work and everything else in between. Something was mentioned about a booth decorating contest. As far as I know, my creatures are going to be back this year. At least one of them will be back. I'm hoping to get the Turtle Man, Soul Taker, and the Bats. And Nick, I think the very first time I ever met you was the very first year that they had actually came.
Yeah, it had to be. I always look back at that. Funny part was I was actually supposed to be part of that lineup the first year because I was going to appear as my character, the Scary Stories host, and I was going to read some of my scary stories, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, that never happened. But also, I was going through a real tough time. I had like a terrible migraine that happened, like all of a sudden. It was bad, and that kind of spoiled everything. But other than that, I remember the first year, meeting you and several others, and it was still a good time with Para-Unity.
Nick,
it's always a good time.
Do you see the correlation with your migraines? It's stress. It's stress. Is. When you stress about doing something, you stress about getting somewhere, your migraines hit.
They do. Well, it's not only just that. It's not only just the stress itself. I mean, especially, and this is all, in fact, I'm already kind of going through this. Unfortunately, we're also at that time of the year, especially like in this area with the transition between summer and fall. It's getting hot in the day and cold at night, so temperatures change dramatically. And I just had one of those headaches earlier this morning. I had to take one of my medicine pills.
I take a monthly shot, and I also have pills that I would have to take for my migraines, especially, like you said, during this time of year. But this year's host, back to Para-Unity, sorry.
Yeah.
Before I forget, this year's host is Taps of Indiana. So Teresa and her amazing team are this year's hosts, and she is doing an amazing job. And poor thing is stressed out because this is her first time, I think, ever planning an event, and she's doing just a fabulous job on everything. So
that's awesome.
See, and I'm hoping to attend Para-Unity as well. It just all depends on my schedule. I mean, where you guys have it every year, I mean, that's not even that far away where I live. I mean, that's at least 2.5 hours away. So I'm still trying to figure out if I could try to make it out there this year. So it's kind of been up in the air. So, but either way, I mean, that definitely sounds really exciting for this year's Para-Unity Con.
Yes, and it's going to be located at the Miami County Fairgrounds in Peru, Indiana, where we hold it every year, and it's expanding. Like this year, we've had to expand. I don't know if you've seen the flyers or not that's been going around that me and Jeremy's been sharing around, that we're expanding to outside vendors because we have no more room in the main building and the church. We're completely packed. So now we're expanding to outside vendors. So And we are still looking for outside vendors. And it's a rain or shine event. No refunds. Bring your own tables. Bring your own pop-ups. So if you're interested, anybody watching, and you're in the area and would like to attend Perry Unity, reach out to the Perry Unity's page, and Teresa will get you all squared away.
Oh yeah, Jeremy said he's gonna upload the flyer and show it here, so that way, I'll show it once he gets it uploaded.
Thank you,
It won't
Jeremy.
take him a second.
What was that, Adrian?
I said it won't take him a second.
Yeah, not even.
He's already on it, and he needs to have his butt back on the show. You know, doing this from the behind the scenes ain't gonna work for very long.
I mean, yeah, he's like, no, I'm good.
No,
He's doing an amazing job behind the scenes. So
that's the problem. He does it fine behind the scenes. He needs to be on here doing it too. We don't cut him in the slack, I promise. Jan said, "What's your hardest history hunt?"
I was about to get to that one.
I have quite a few, honestly. Oh God.
Scott, no.
I mean, since I've had over 200 different locations, I think the hardest hunt that I would hands down, I have not been able to find nothing, and even talking to like the owners of this location, and we all know this location. I would hope we all know this location is the Monroe House down in Hartford City, Indiana. Yep. I cannot find anything on the house. I can't find anything on around like the house itself. And even the owners don't really know much history about it. So that one right there is by far the most hardest I have. But out of actual like locations, it's hard to say because I have files like really thin, and then I have files thick.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Are you close to the location at all?
Which location? Hartford City?
No, Monroe House.
Yeah, where the Monroe House is, yeah.
I'm about 2 hours.
See,
have you tried going to the library and checking like the little fish films or anything like that?
We should have them at a historical society.
No, I haven't. Only because me being at like my desk and doing it over online and being home with my kids is more important than traveling to try to find information.
I wonder, I know you can hear, and I don't know how advanced they are there, but I know here you can get that online at the library if you log into the library itself. At
City Hall, because sometimes City Hall has the historic records there too.
You can forget City Hall. I'm telling you.
Nope.
Pam and Eddie couldn't even find any information on the house itself either. And they searched.
That's so strange. I do know, like, if there was anything in the newspapers at any point in time, or somebody wrote an article at any point in time. Now, unless the library burned or part of the town burned, then it would be all gone.
Well, I just got to throw this out. I mean, ironically enough, I was actually at not inside, but we actually happened to be right near the Monroe House earlier this year. That wasn't our intended location, though, that we were going, because we were heading to Parapsychon at the Ohio State Reformatory. So just passing through Indiana, we were just passing by. But, we actually did kind of get a look around with Hartford City. And I thought I saw that there might have been a historical society. Right? I don't really remember, unfortunately, because it was a couple months back. But I would have thought they would have had something involving the Monroe House over there.
You would think.
Not 100% sure.
But here, like even here, because this I mean, as big as this town is, it's nothing like you're used to in Chicago or.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
me,
we're
this is huge.
different.
To me, this is huge. This is ridiculous. It's huge. But when I was going to paralegal school, we had to go to, the records department, and we had to learn real estate law, which never used it, don't care to. But when you look at things, when you go way back, and I can't remember the year this changed, but you go way back the 1800s, and they still have some things from the 1800s, but the plots, instead of saying, like they do now, block this and this or plot this and this, it's where you see the eagle on the fence over here, and then and they actually, you can go there and sometimes still see what they're talking about. There's a post driven into the ground in a certain place that marks the land. It's unreal. One of them I'll never forget was a shark tooth rock. It was really a rock that was sharp on top and looked like a shark tooth. Still there. It was a landmarker. Of course, now they have the actual landmarkers dug into the ground where you have to, put the device over it and it's going to beep and you know where it's at. But, those things sometimes come in real handy when it comes to property, looking at property and where it used to be and where it is now. You rode most of the time? Huh?
Yeah. Wait, what? You rode
okay.
No, Scott's telling that to Jeremy.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding. I don't like it. Nope. Give me that horse and let me ride to work.
Oh, now Mimi's in the chat. She suggested archives, like, for the Monroe House, maybe.
No, that's a problem. There is no archives to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Look for
Nothing
the
at all.
abstract, for the abstract of the property.
That's the name I was trying to think of. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy trying to find things on certain places. And I don't know if it's maybe the records burned when they were just on paper or on, fish film or whatever. I think sometimes that's the case. Once they're gone, if they weren't transferred to a computer, they're gone.
See, and I also got to admit too. I mean, what you do, Linda, I actually do stuff quite similarly, if not almost the same, because I do a lot of the history research on these places as well, and not just the Monroe House too. I mean, there's just a number of, because I don't know if you've seen with my show I do, Nick Files, because I present a lot of the history on a lot of these locations, and there are just some locations that, in spite of my intense, research on, it's amazing how, despite that some of these places may have 100, 200 years of history, you cannot find a single thing on it when you try researching online, or if you're at a museum or a library or historical society.
Yeah, just like one of the locations that I did just this past week on my show, the John Drish House. It barely had any history whatsoever, and then I was like, okay, then we'll just do, Crescent Hotel, and that's got a lot of different history, and so you're right, there's a lot of different locations out there that don't have really any history that anybody can find, because it's just like vanished.
That makes a lot of sense as to why some of the shows like the one, I don't know how many names we're supposed to say on here. We get tagged for everything. But where it's the cop and the psychic.
The Dead Files?
Yeah, but I just didn't know how much we're actually supposed to say before we get tagged.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize, but I knew which one you were talking about. Yeah.
So he goes and talks to neighbors. He goes to the town folk when he goes there and talks to different people, because there's a lot of things they can't find. So that makes sense why he does that.
I mean, someone like him, I mean, Linda, I don't know if you've watched it yourself, but that's what inspired me to kind of do the similar things that he's done, because it's like, it's amazing how he's able to track all these different people down who's got knowledge about that particular area. Yeah, well, he's retired. He's a retired cop now, but yeah.
Still knows who to talk to, where to go, how to get it. And a retired cop is more respected.
Yeah.
In any police community or any first responder community whatsoever. A firefighter, an EMT, a police officer is going to have, rapport with anywhere it doesn't matter where they go. They understand that they're risking their lives every single day, and they happen to retire. They made it. They did it. Some of them don't make it.
He's a volunteer firefighter.
Volunteer firefighters, I tell you, one of my first boyfriends was a volunteer firefighter. I joined him, and I was 22 maybe at the time. And I went out on my first call. It was a car accident with a baby. I was done. I was done from then. I can't do this. This is my baby's age. I cannot do it. I'm done. But he continued, and I respect him. But that beeper would go off at the worst times. I don't know how many times I've thrown that beeper. I don't know how many times I've thrown it. And even to this day,
it does go off at the worst possible times. Yes,
they do.
But now, not having it every night, it sucks. It really does. So used to hearing like everything going on around in the county, and then hearing that tone.
Yeah.
And then him being gone on a fire call, and me just like finding myself pacing back and forth. Is he okay? What's going on? I haven't heard from him.
Yeah.
And getting him to talk about some of the things that he's seen.
Yeah.
Since the 6 years we've been together, it's been really hard because he doesn't like to talk things. But
that's understandable.
You can equate that to somebody that's a soldier. Some people are willing to talk, and of course, they're under oath as well, where they cannot give names until they're released, things like that. But that's got to be hard. After that one I saw, that has to be hard, which I'm the opposite. I want to talk about it. I want to, and Jan knows firsthand, I want to process it with somebody.
Yeah. They say, they tell you in training not to look at their eyes. Like if they get toned out to a deceased person's residence and stuff, they say if their eyes are open, do not look at their eyes, because you'll never get those eyes out of your brain.
Yeah.
So, and my
but
dad
tell
was
somebody
a
not to
firefighter.
do it, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they're gonna do if you tell them not to, even without thinking about it. That's what they're gonna do, and then realize, oh, oops. But yeah, I guess it's different for everybody. But for me, I would have to try to connect with their soul. Like, okay, I understand you're deceased. Whatever the case might be, that's me. I have to do that.
Tom says he's got firefighters in the family. Stories are hard to listen to.
They are. That one was enough for me. I can't. Nope. I can't go personally. Bless the people that do.
Yeah.
We need them. Just like we need nurses. We need doctors. We need CNAs. I was a CNA. I would clock out and sit with somebody because they didn't have anybody with them, and they were going to pass within hours. So I sat there with them. I don't regret doing that, but I can't do that because then I'd be on the job 24/7.
Yeah.
And I can't detach, so I can't do that. That's not me. I cannot do it. I know better.
Last
Go.
one.
It's all the funny ones. I'll
So-
talk to close people about the bad ones. Just real quick, because Mimi just asked this. So, is there going to be a pure unity here in Colorado? I don't think there is. As far as I know.
Not a pair of unity, no. Now, if we decide to do something, then there will be something, but it won't be called pair of unity, no.
She said, yeah, Jeremy said someone just has to arrange the event and put in the legwork to get it going.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, Jen had something fall in her lap not long ago, and it was a Paracon event that somebody had done, and they had to walk away from it because of, they are busy. They had to walk away. And looking at the documentation and looking at, oh my gosh, that is adorable.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything while you were talking, so.
Oh, that's okay. That supersedes anything I was saying, I promise you.
There we go. Oh yeah, Jeremy just doggy.
That's a pit mix.
Full-blooded brindle pit.
Okay.
Is it male or female?
Female.
And what's her name?
Cassie.
Kathy. Okay. Oh, she is
How
adorable.
can you be scared of that?
How can I be scared of her?
No, just people that talk about how scary they are.
No, you know what? I have no idea. I adopted her from the pound back in 2021. Right? 2020. Because she was the same year, same age as my German Shepherd, but my German Shepherd was just a couple months older than she was. So I adopted her back in 2020, and she is like the best dog ever. She doesn't bark. She is very lovable and affectionate. The only time she actually barks or gets kind of like that aggression is when someone tries to mess with the kids.
Yep,
Oh,
and
really?
that's
But
their
other than
job.
that,
Yeah, it's
this
like
is what
it's
she
an
does.
instinct. Yeah, is she the one that Jeremy's asked? Is she the one that you were telling him about?
Are you talking about the one that I was like wanting to get rid of? Because no. No.
Well, she is adorable, though. She is a
Thank
cutie.
No, what I was saying was the price, and Jan said it, the price for speakers.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking not.
Oh my
No.
God.
No. I want the people that mean something to us in the community.
Really, Jeremy? You're gonna make me get up. My emotional support animal. Hold on.
So we get to
An
see another
animal?
one.
Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry.
Hey, take your time.
Why are we digging for an animal?
Hey,
It's
I'm
your,
gonna work.
it's my job to make people work.
I had to move out of my house because it was becoming unsafe for my kids. So, like, my family split up. So, it's kind of like mom's bedroom is a catch-all for everything right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is probably the most. I mean, this is probably gonna be the show that's gonna have the most dog guests, Adrian.
I don't know. I heard a little pause walking through here, but I don't know which one of mine it was.
I was gonna say, where's your dogs tonight?
I don't have food in front of me yet.
That's true. Yeah, dogs will go after the food. All right. So who do we got next? Whoa! Is that? Oh my God! Is that a badger?
No.
Looked like a badger for a second.
No, it is absolutely not. No.
Is that a skunk?
Yep.
Oh my God! I was expecting another dog. Holy cow! Wow!
Yeah, I had one of those too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is Peppy. He's 4 years old.
Happy.
He is pretty much my emotional support animal. So
Is his stink glands removed?
I literally was about to ask that. I heard they usually remove the stink glands.
My dad was a vet, and there was a skunk got run over. And all I remember, I was 5. All I remember was the nose was bloody.
Oh.
And he had removed the spray glands. And it never made it to half that size. He had injuries.
Oh,
but
man.
I've had squirrels, I've had raccoons, I've had everything, but I've always wanted one of those.
So they are really protective they only bond to 2 different people. So even though we only had him since January, he was surrendered to the rescue. And I had already put a down payment on a baby. And they asked me if I wanted an adult. So I said yes. And so he bonded to me and my boyfriend. And when he is with my boyfriend, you can't get near my boyfriend. He will literally hiss at you. And he will snap at you.
That was my next question, because I remember hearing, I saw it on Wikipedia or something like that, those who have pet skunks, is it true that when they have their stink glands removed, aren't they at times, doesn't that sometimes make them more aggressive when they don't have that?
No, he's a big love bug. He loves to cuddle, which I don't. He's probably hungry. It's past dinner time for him. He is really extremely lovable, cuddly, but also,
their stink glands are not part of their reproductive organs. They're spray. That's
a separate organ.
Yeah, it's not like it's going to affect their personality, and they don't even know that they can't spray. They still try.
It's like they're not like getting neutered or something like.
Oh, look at that nose!
No. Yep. Oh, that is so adorable.
Look at that nose.
Does Peppy make a lot of noise? A lot of times.
He sleeps there most of the day. He'll get up at night and let us know when he's hungry. He'll get up and scratch. His claws are pretty long, so he'll scratch like this down his cage. And the only time he actually squeaks is if he's mad and I go to pick him up and he doesn't want to be picked up and he thinks that I'm gonna kill him.
Now those claws, seeing how long can they get pretty sharp? Over time.
They can, especially because he just got his nails clipped a couple days ago, so they're pretty sharp now.
Jeremy, you sure talk big from back there. You wouldn't even say nothing like that on camera.
But yeah, he's pretty lovable. He's pretty calm. He'll sleep most of the day.
Are they nocturnal?
Yes, but they can be on your sleep schedule. And he's also trained to walk on a leash. He's got his own little harness. And he walks on a leash.
I bet people give you some looks when you do that.
I was about to say that too.
So, funny enough, I took him with me to the Hannah House Paranormal Festival this year. And the amount of people here in Indiana that think that, my booth was swarmed with people at times because everybody was like, oh my God, is that a skunk? And now TSPI, the team that I'm a part of now, Amanda was holding him so I could walk away for a minute because I was pretty much by myself because I was representing my historian side. She got asked if he was I still don't understand it. Maybe you could explain it. She was holding him and someone's like, oh my God, is that a squirrel?
A squirrel?
Now, mind you, he was not covered up, obviously, because it's in August.
Yeah.
And somebody asked her if he was a squirrel.
Were they from a city?
I don't know, but the amount of people that were like, you can have a skunk in Indiana. I'm like, Yes. And the amount of people that would look at Amanda, which is another member of TSPI, and they would look at me, they would think that Peppy was hers and not mine because, you know, I don't look like I would own a skunk. Where versus Amanda, she's got the I don't know what style she is. I would say more of a gothic style type persona,
Yeah.
but I don't know what style it is. Honestly, I can't say. But it was just like, really, people? Do you not?
Jeremy's still like, yep, he's a squirrel. He's just dressed up as a skunk for Halloween.
Here's your side.
Here's your side.
Yeah. No, there really are people that live in the city, Nick, that we had to discuss fishing tactics with.
Yes, I know.
Hunting tactics.
I'm still learning it. I get it.
Because he sees skyscrapers and we see antlers. And speaking of Nick, Jeremy,
What?
you'll get a kick out of this. Town over, I believe. A ring cam caught a bear running through town.
Oh, really?
They're getting close, and they're getting close fast.
I'm not surprised if that actually is happening because, you know,
We're an hour from the mountains. We have got to be encroaching their land really bad.
I've heard for many years that bears are often known to like visit villages and neighborhoods and cities and
They're
town
hungry.
areas. I mean, it's not surprising at the least bit.
Yeah, this is not okay. This is not okay. 2 towns over where we went and got this stove, we were looking at, he wanted to get property there when I moved here so that we could wake up in the morning, walk outside, and we see mountains every morning. Great, except there's also mountain lions that come with them.
Yep, that too. You have different types of wildlife that show up, not just bears.
Yeah, the mountain lions will take a kid, where a bear will most likely run unless somebody has made a habit of feeding it every day or leaving trash out every day where it can get it. But a mountain lion does not give.
Oh,
where it's at.
Yep.
It
You know,
will take a kid.
it's actually kind of ironic, and this is something you'll find interesting too, Linda, is that there's a guy from, well, I don't know, well, it's been a number of years now, but there's a guy on YouTube. He actually owned a mountain lion for pets, and he raised it right from the start, you know, when it was just a baby. So it was different, obviously. This kid, he's even admitted that, you know, it was a female mountain lion, and he said she's not capable of, you know, like ripping somebody's face off. He believed that she was not that type of an aggressive cat, but he did, however, admit that the only time she did get kind of dangerous was when she was being playful. So even when they are being playful, they're still extremely dangerous.
Okay, little lesson from the vet's daughter. I slept with tiger cubs in my bed because my dad was a vet for the zoo. Okay, you can only do that for just a few weeks before their playfulness does start cutting skin and biting becomes very dangerous very quickly. And when there's a thing too, you know, if they taste blood, absolutely. Because if they bite you, they get that blood, they're going to continue to try to eat it. That's their nature. When animals grow up, mountain lions, cubs, any of that, when they hit puberty, that instinct of I need to fight for a mate, whether they have one or not, or been raised by humans or not, that's their nature. It's going to happen. You don't trust a mountain lion. You don't trust a bear. You don't trust a lion. I don't care how long you've raised them.
So, fun fact about how I got Peppy. Me and my boyfriend were talking because here in Indiana, from what I have researched, is I could have a tiger. Like, my all-time favorite animal is a tiger, any tiger. So I was like, you can have a tiger in Indiana. I want a tiger. And he goes, I would rather you have a skunk. I was like, bet. And I went a whole year without saying anything. And then the beginning of this year, I looked at him. We were out at dinner one night, and I'm like, oh, babe, guess what? And I'm all excited. He looks at me, he goes, what's got you all excited? And then I'm like, guess what I get this year? And he goes, you're going to Waverly like you planned it. I said, no, I'm not. No, that was flushed down the toilet. And he goes, and then he started naming off like my events that I'm doing and stuff. And I'm like, no, it's an animal. And he goes, are you getting another animal? I said, yes. And he goes, I don't know, babe, what? And I'm like, you told me last year that I could get a skunk this year, so I'm getting one. And he goes, damn it.
Why didn't you let me answer him? Why didn't you let me answer that little fucker? Who is he?
What?
This Paul Peters dude.
Yeah, I just noticed, like, what the hell?
Hey, sweetie, just in case you get to see it on another platform, sweetheart, why in God's name would I need a vibrator? I'm married. My husband has no problem. You got a problem? I'm sure your wife or girlfriend might need one, but the rest of us don't.
Okay, yeah, Jeremy just blocked him.
I know, but I had to say something.
Yeah.
So in case he gets to see it from another platform,
Me being this excited, and Jeremy can tell you, this is my personality. I don't care. Anybody that, I don't need one because I got the real thing.
There you go. Exactly. and this dumbass that has no idea who the hell I am. Matter of fact, I'm going to look this little fucker up. Who is he?
But yes, the boyfriend was like, oh my God.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was hoping that I would forget that he said I could have get a skunk this year.
Jan, we'll talk about it later. She's asking, what did I miss?
Somebody decided to talk about me and a vibrator.
Go ahead, Lynn.
So, yeah. Yep. I contacted the rescue, and I was like, hey, I want, they call them skunk kits. And so I was like, I'll send my down payment, and, it's $225 for a down payment, and then the other $225 at the time of pickup. And somebody surrendered Peppy, which was not his name when I got him. I renamed him. The boyfriend renamed him. That was the stipulation, that he got to name him. And I swear, people do not know that reference when I say his name is Peppy.
Really?
Yeah.
Are we that old?
I'm only 31.
See, and I never got to say, I'm that same age too. So I don't think it's that old of a name, is it?
I wouldn't think so.
Well, yeah, it's got to be because people don't know that reference. And I'm like, are you serious? You don't know who Pepe Le Pew is? The skunk that chases after the cat that looks like a skunk?
I was thinking of that, but I was also thinking of there's only one other thing out there that's been named Peppy. And it was actually, funny enough, it's actually on a cryptid. There actually is a lake monster out in a lake called Lake Pepin, which is right between the border of Wisconsin and Minnesota. They have their own lake monster, and that one's ironically known as Peppy over there.
Oh, nope, he is named after the cartoon.
Yeah.
And I have to have a special license. His actual license says Pepe Le Pew on it. So, yeah, my boyfriend was hoping that I would not remember that.
Maybe he wants a baby skunk now.
So, here in Indiana, there is a rescue down in North Salem, Indiana, called the Indiana Skunk Rescue, and they only do them, they only do 20 of them a year. So, what she does is she purchases 20 skunks from a fur farm, so they get, if you adopt one, you're essentially saving it to be raised, from being raised for fur and or going to being, I don't want to say, getting shipped off to companies.
Like black market. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And they only do 20 of them a year. So you send a down payment, and then it's like June, July that you would get your baby skunk. And then you have to apply for your license, and then the DNR comes out and says, yes, you can have them, or you're not fit. This is not a fit place. And takes them.
Yeah.
So with your skunk, so how old is Peppy in this case?
4 years old.
It's 4.
How long do they live?
I was
15
see,
years.
you're just taking all the questions out of my mind, because I was gonna say how long do they usually live for?
I can read your mind.
Yeah, you can.
Yep. And about captivity is now if he's got like a regular good diet and stuff like that, about 15 years.
So when they're in this case, like when as pets, I mean, because this is another question I just wonder, do they have a better chance? I guess I'm not really sure how else to really say. Do they have a better chance of living longer than like they do out in the wild in this case, or is it pretty much the same as wild skunks?
No, it's safer, I want to say, because there is foods that are toxic to them that they cannot have that could give them kidney failure and all that other stuff. And of course, predators and vehicles and just regular, humans.
And roadkill.
So, with him being here with me, or with, any skunk being with a human, they're safer. As long as that human is taking care of them and does their research before and finds the do's and don'ts and what they're allergic to, what they're not allergic to type thing. So he can't have strawberries at all because he's allergic. They can't have grapes. They can't have cat food. And so the really messed up thing is a vital thing they have to have in their diet is found in cat food. So taurine is something they have to have in their diet because they're almost blind. So they use their nose for sense of smell.
Yeah, I heard they don't really see too well, unfortunately.
No, because they're nocturnal.
Yeah.
And so taurine helps with that. And without that, and it's found in most cat foods, but so luckily I told the shelter about it. I said, hey, what can I give him in place of the cat food? Because I didn't realize that I was, potentially poisoning him by accident, because I was just going off by what the rescue said, and the rescue didn't even realize this either. I'm like, wait a minute, you're a rescue. Shouldn't you know this? I'm just an average person, but then again, I history, research, that's my thing.
Yeah.
And I found it out, and she didn't know, and she was like, well, thank you for letting me know, because she was feeding them, like the skunks, grapes and stuff, and they can't have grapes because they're toxic to them.
Tom said skunks are just cats with gifts.
Yes, they're like a house cat, but they eat what we eat, pretty much.
Now I'm going to assume that you have like special treats for him, right? Oh, not even for him.
He gets. Oh wait, yes. So French fries and potatoes have no nutrition value to him.
Wow.
So whenever we go out to eat or something, and I get French fries, I'll bring what I don't eat or what the kids don't eat home to him, and he gets French fries.
I never would expect French fries to eventually become a treat in this case for skunks.
Okay, he's spoiled. He's got more blankets than I do, and I have a ton of blankets.
Can you imagine if you had like one of those type of like black and white blankets out there, and like I'm sure he must camouflage. He uses camouflage.
He does have a black and white blanket.
So he kind of blends into it. Let's see. Just checking to see if there was any. Just checking real quick if I might have missed anything. What was it that I thought Jeremy said something. Oh, you need to do a pet college.
Collage.
Oh, collage. I thought it was college for some.
No.
Collage. The hell is that?
That's where you put a bunch of pictures together
Yeah,
of
Nick, if
all
you
the
go on
trash?
my Facebook profile, you'll see like I have different pictures on my cover photo. That's a collage.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
Oh,
they're
and
different pictures that make one big picture.
Jeremy also said earlier, and I wanted to actually tell you this, Jeremy, Adrian, when you had your dog up there, I do agree that your dog looked similar to Ghost, didn't she, Adrian?
Cassie, come.
Kind of. I think she looks a little more like. Oh, he's not on the network page anymore. He got banned apparently.
Yeah, he got. I got the message. Yeah, he just got.
I can't find him. Like searching Facebook profiles, like it's disappeared.
See, I would have.
What is it?
It's the guy that was causing that troller.
He thought he was funny.
I haven't looked myself because obviously I'm just keeping an eye on everything in the comments. So
What he doesn't understand is I don't give two shits what he's got to say.
yeah.
But thanks for the acknowledgement there, buddy. I'll take it how I can get it. It's all right.
It's so funny. He got booed right off the stage.
I know. I could have had fun with him for a minute, Jeremy.
Oh my god.
I could have had fun with him for a minute. I bet you he knows how to use one of those better than I do.
I actually wanted to go back to one other thing that we were just talking about, like when Mimi was asking about, like when it comes to these, wanting to have some paracons. That's the other thing I was going to bring up too at some point, Adrian, is that I noticed that it doesn't seem like Colorado gets very many paracons.
We don't, because there's not a lot here where people can actually go. I mean, in the summer, it would be okay to have one. In the wintertime, it's iffy, just like in the UP or towards your area, that people can even get there. And if we're going to have a Paracon, I can promise you it's going to be our friends and people that we see doing good in the community that are going to be asked to speak, to do courses, to do classes, to do whatever it is they do, bring their items to sell, whatever it is they do. It's not going to be, and I would find a location that is needing a little bit of help with upkeep or whatever, and all the donations, anything, $25 a person, get in. Everybody bring potluck, whatever. If you're traveling here, bring sandwich meat from Walmart, whatever.
Yes.
We're not going to, it's going to be something very down home type. I'm sorry, we're not paying $5,000 for somebody to come speak. It's not going to happen simply because we can't afford that here. We can't do that and take the risk that if something doesn't happen, then we end up paying for it. It just can't happen. So, I would rather hear from people that I've been watching over the last year that are doing wonderful things. I'd like to hear from them. I'd like to hear from people just coming into the community. What are their concerns? What do they need help with? What can some of us that have been in the field a while teach them or help them with? What questions do they have? Maybe do some mediumship classes, something like that. You teach them how to do history, how to do history on location.
I'm more than just a historian. Also, I'm an empath medium.
I'm sorry, that carries a lot of weight. That shit sucks till you get it down to where it doesn't affect your
And my
everyday
daughter, I passed that gene on to my oldest daughter, the one that's you see Nick wearing
the Jack Skellington stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, so she's inherited it as well. Okay.
Yeah. So how I originally got started and everything. I know this is one of the things that Jeremy, because I asked him what the show was going to be about tonight.
We never know. He knows that.
Well, I didn't know. Like, he asked me to be on the show, so I was like, yeah, So, how I originally got started, I'm always respectful, no matter what. So, I'm
Oh,
always
she's talking
respectful.
about advice for the new ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
yeah.
That's what Nikki's referring to.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, you're
But,
good. You're good.
When I lived in Claypool, when I was a very young child, I lived right next to the cemetery, and I would always play in the cemetery. That's actually where I'm currently moving from. Something called me back there. I don't know what called me back, so I'm guessing it's just time for me to move away until I get called back.
Right.
What I thought was an imaginary friend at the time turned out to be my very first attachment ever. And I always knew I was different because I would see people and they didn't look real to me. And then I started, when I got to 13 and I could still see them and I could still communicate with them because it was just weird to me. My mom introduced me to TAPS, to ghost hunters. And he is still my idol. I don't care what anybody says. That man is my idol. I got to meet him just recently.
Which
the
one?
convention.
Jason?
Yeah, Jason.
Yep. I saw him a few weeks
Jason
ago.
is a good person.
I just saw him a few weeks ago at the Michigan Paracon. Yeah.
He is my idol. I started watching his show and I realized, hey, you're not different. You're not a freak because I've always been a freak. And then I started looking into more and seeing if there was anybody around me that could answer questions. And then I started finding the locations. And that's when I was like, wait a minute, this is really cool. And I've always been a history freak. So yeah, that's how I got started, was when I was a little girl. I knew I was really different than everybody else. And now I passed it on to my daughter and it scares me.
The one asking, okay, I'd like to hone in on my medium abilities.
I was gonna say, does anyone know who this is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So why don't you message me and we will discuss this?
I had another question. I had a question to ask, actually, Lena, since you were talking about, because the fact that you just brought up show, and the fact that you're also the same age as me, that brings up another show. I wondered if you ever watched, because I grew up watching that kind of stuff too. Did you ever watch that show, Scariest Places on Earth? Did you ever watch that one? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And Hulu has it. And I started watching it the other day. And I'm like, I vividly remember like that scary voice and like the people and with the cameras and stuff.
Zelda
and I'm watching it now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, this is not the same Scariest Places on Earth that I remember growing up on.
Yeah, that was.
I missed that show so bad.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that it was going to be on. It was on Hulu. I knew it was on YouTube where you could watch it, thankfully. And I mean, I know for a fact that some of the stuff was reenacted. Some of it was turned out to be fake, but it was still kind of a fun show for its day. It was, and just like you. I mean, when I first started getting it, I didn't really take it seriously at first. It was just to us just our typical show that we would watch around Halloween. But nowadays, like a few years later, again, whether or not it's real paranormal footage or something, like it's still remarkable. I think you'd agree with this too. Like Scariest Places on Earth, Ghost Hunters, a lot of the old paranormal shows on Travel Channel. They used to air every Friday night before Ghost Adventures took over. I think those older shows are probably far more better and more accurate than the ones that we got today.
100% agree with you.
It wasn't about competition back then.
Yeah, it wasn't. And so my daughter, I let her watch that stuff, and I have gotten so much grief from a lot of people about letting my daughter watch this. I don't hide anything from my children. I mean, they know about Mom. They know about, I do have an altar set up and everything, and it's not what everybody thinks. An altar is different things to different people. but they know. But my oldest daughter, which yesterday was her birthday, and oddly enough, even though it's different years, she was born the same time that the plane hit the Pentagon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, but I let her watch that stuff. And I let her watch Ghost Hunters, and she loves Taft. She loves Ghost Hunters. She's even got an autograph picture. Unfortunately, she couldn't go with me that day because she came down sick, but I told her I would get her a picture signed by Jason Hawes. Now, she does like watching Zach, guys.
I love
Oh, jeez.
I'm
Please tell me
so
at least the
sorry,
early.
sweetheart.
Please tell me the
Okay,
early seasons
okay.
at
I
least.
don't stop her from watching it. I don't, because then she can decipher what is real, what is fake.
Yeah.
And to
Yep.
me, that's more important than her, me telling her she can't watch something because she
Yeah,
likes it.
no, you can't tell somebody they can't watch
I
something.
have gotten
Yeah.
so much grief about it. My daughter, she's got abilities. I know she's 10, and she can still see a little boy that she interacts with day in and day out. No, I don't let her go to different locations because mom feels it's not safe for her yet. But I do let her go to the old Costco County Jail and investigate. And that's where she met her friend. I won't say his name.
Can I?
Well, baby,
Can I say his name?
if you feel that he's going to be okay with it, that's not my doing. That's yours, baby. I let her make her, she communicates with the little boy. I don't. I know.
How
I've
did
seen
she-
him. My daughter, Maya.
Hi, baby. How old are
Yeah.
you?
10.
Oh, you're not a baby, are you? At that age, you go, I ain't no baby.
She goes, no, but I have
Double
a baby.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
So
Keep-
this
keep
is the one
baby.
that has the abilities. This is the one that I don't hide things from.
Okay. I got food.
She has helped me cleanse my house. I am teaching her, and then I let her meet people in the community that I'm comfortable with her meeting.
Yeah.
And there's things that I can't answer, but I know
Mama, I have
that-
one away.
okay, that's fine. That I know that if I can't answer it, I can go to them and say, hey, will you
Right.
help me, please?
And she feels comfortable enough. She's growing up comfortable to where nobody's telling her, you're crazy. You're not seeing what you think you're
She
seeing.
has. She has.
That's
But home
been told.
doesn't have that.
yeah. That's the
You have
unfortunate.
that. Yes, I understand you're seeing it. And let's talk about it. Let's see what we need to do about it.
That's me through and through, but her biological father and her biological grandmother, I do not care. I will put them on blast. They will look at me and ask me, why are you sitting here letting her do that? That stuff's not real. I'm like, how do you know it's not real? I have proven to you time and time and time and time and time and time again that it is real. I have proven to you that our daughter has abilities. You may not believe it, but you're not going to stop our
Yeah.
daughter or your granddaughter from believing in what she wants to believe in. And
That's
she knows it's
That's-
right.
That's something that, and again, we were just talking about, like you were just saying a few minutes ago, when you started doing this at a rather young age. I started doing it at a young age too. And again, especially for someone like myself, because, I'm on the autism spectrum, it was easier for, unfortunately, a lot of adults, basically teachers and staff members at school, who were basically telling me, you got to knock it off with this stuff. Like they were literally telling me stuff doesn't exist. They really truly thought I was making this stuff up.
Yeah.
And if I could just see the look on their faces now of where things have gone. I mean, I even at only 12, 13 years old, I really wanted to prove them all wrong. And kind of the same thing, like in this case with your daughter, I kind of did fight back saying, you don't have to believe in this kind of stuff, but that's not going to stop me from pursuing this interest in what I believe.
Right,
So,
right.
Right.
so I know exactly how you feel by that.
My dad, I love him. He is a full-blown skeptic. Like he'll make fun of it, but not in a bad way. It'll
My
make you
husband
laugh type thing. But yet he will brag about me to his customers because he owns a taxi company here in Warsaw, Indiana. He'll tell his customers, yeah, my daughter's into the paranormal and she's got all of the, like, all this equipment and stuff like that. So he brags about it and he'll look at me and be like, oh, you're going to go play with some ghosts? And so it's,
Yeah, I am.
but he was like, you believe in what you want to believe in, just don't push it on me type
Right,
person.
right. That's the same with any religion. Believe your thing, but don't come knocking on my door with it. I don't care if you're a Satanist, a Christian, a pagan, whatever. I got this. If I have questions, I will come to you. I'm glad I know what you are. So, if I have questions, I'll
Right.
come to you.
You know,
But you're not turning me into anything.
that actually brings up something else. And this, again, for any, and not just in this case for her, but for any kid that decides, in this case, to get into the paranormal field. Like what I went through when people were telling me to stop, getting involved in this kind of stuff at a young age. It's like sometimes people don't seem to understand, whether it's whether it's your kid or someone else's kid, or you're a teacher or whatever. They don't seem to realize that, yeah, they're just kids, but every now and then you have to let this kid become independent in some way, shape, or form to follow what they want to get involved in their future. So in this case, like if she wanted to, she has interest in the paranormal, like want to grow up, that's what she's probably most likely going to do. So the fact, like what I went through, they were trying to stop me from being independent. I wasn't going to let them stop me. I was going to still do it whether they liked it or not.
And that's what I've taught her. You don't let nobody stop you from doing what you want to do. If you want to pursue the paranormal and you want to keep going with this, then so be it. You just tell those haters, look, just because I'm doing something with my life and you're not, doesn't mean that I have to stop.
I'm not making fun of you. You don't make fun of me. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, sorry, I just want to just throw this out real quick, Adrian. I mean, it's unfortunate that there's still people out there who are up to no good of trying to stop, kids' interest, but like, and it even at times extended even with other kids, which of course, that time that made it totally unfair because it's like, I was not bothering them with whatever they were following. So why should they bother me? That was their, whatever they were going to follow, that was their business and that was my business.
Kids are mean. Mean.
Well, like I said,
and they grow up sometimes to be the same way. Big bullies they were because nobody whooped their ass when they should have.
Well, what's funny,
I got my butt whooped.
You bet.
I mean, there was like some of those kids that I dealt with were like that, but eventually some of them did grow up and eventually began to respect, what I was pursuing because I think they realized that I took this stuff at times very seriously, even if I was still young. But Adrian, as you know all too well, it was more of the adults, the staff members that were even worse than the
sad.
Kids.
That's
really
sad.
Is.
Garrett, dude, you have my info. You know my address. We can work on this. We got this. We can work on this together. And yeah, maybe I'll learn a thing or two. We got this.
See, I gotta admit too. I mean, it's the fact that like if your daughter wants to like follow through with this, it's too bad we don't have more of this kind of stuff around. Like in well, maybe not necessarily like in elementary schools, but it's for stuff like for future years in middle school and high school. Because funny thing is, again, during my early years, I actually started a paranormal club at my former high school. So
high school, okay.
That's why I said I'm not so sure about elementary, middle school, but high school would probably be a perfect time. Like, and it's just it's funny to think that there's not as many clubs or groups out there, with kids, at that age that want to get together and do this kind of stuff and know how to do it the right way. Not like where you have, your typical teenagers just breaking into places.
Yeah.
So
Linda, what's her name?
Maya,
sweetheart, what is your forte? Do you, like out on the street, do you see people differently? Do you see spirits when you're just out like at a mall or?
Sometimes, but not always.
Do they talk to you when you're out?
No, because I have to follow along with Mom.
Yeah.
Mom's taught her how to put blocks up because it gets to the point where it gets so bad that will get a splitting migraine.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
and then I will take it from her. And I usually have my blocks up because, it does get overwhelming at times. And for her, being her young age, she's a child, she's a magnet for that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would take my blocks down and she would have 10, 15 people around her at once.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was like, okay, baby, this is how we need to do this. Keep you some, your blocks up because he knows you're coming to see him on Saturday.
It's got to be
So-
overwhelming.
And
After
she
a
has
while.
said that
Wake you up at night?
what?
Do they ever wake you up at night?
I mean, at our old house, they did.
So, an old woman one time told me this. See if it works. I don't know if it will. It works for some people. But like, she would picture herself sitting outside on the front porch on a chair and put a closed sign. And really it's a block, but it's a way that you can give them the idea that you're shut down. You want no contact.
Yeah. Just basically a way saying can't talk
They
right now.
can speak to the person you put outside. You put your other self outside. They can talk to them all day long, but to leave you alone, it is what it was. Now they don't bother me like that, so I can't say that. But it sounds to me, thank you, like it would really work. Like it would be a boundary.
Yeah.
And Jan just said this. Here's another good piece of advice for you too. Saying pull the shades over your eyes like in the cartoons.
You see? It says pull the shades over your eyes.
She's giving you that. Jan's giving you that advice as well.
I'm just trying to help you.
You know, why not? I mean, yeah, that's also a your intention. It's a boundary. You're done.
Taking you guys with me since you're on my phone. I need to go outside.
Sure. Jan also said that sounds very much like Avi as well with her
Abby?
abilities.
Yes, Abby is nuts with because she should not be seeing, hearing, communicating the things that she does. She can astral project herself.
I was gonna say she's younger than
She's fine.
yeah.
Now, I don't know because I've never really asked Maya about certain things. I have always been told her, hey, if you want to know anything, something starts happening, you can come to mommy. And mommy
Right.
will try to answer it. So I don't know if she's been able, I'm able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but from what I've been told by quite a few different people is she's going to be a very powerful medium when she gets older.
Yeah.
What's he want?
I don't know. He's been annoying me.
Okay, well, ask him what he wants, baby.
Well, another thing too to throw in as well is that like you just said, I mean, and even though she's only 10, at an age where her brain is still obviously still developing and still growing, basically, I think definitely, in the like you said, I think later, I think once she becomes a full-grown adult, I think she's really going to have quite the abilities of, what things may look like quite, in her future.
And I've gotten, like I said, I've gotten a lot of crap about trying to teach her young and get, some things to pinpoint. I have put blocks up on her of my own against her because it was, like I said, it was so bad that she was getting severe migraines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the more that she, I don't introduce everything at once to her. When she comes to me about a new thing, I will look and be like, okay, let's see if we can find the answer. Because if we can't, I'm pretty sure I know somebody that does, and we'll ask them. And it's just like a learning process for the both of us,
Right.
It's also how I can help her when she needs it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Not too many people have that.
Jan
She
said
is my.
grounding with visual, the white light going around in circles. I mean, circles around her fast and growing. I don't know if she's
She
Adrian,
knows
I
how
don't
to
know
ground
if
herself.
I don't know if well, I was gonna say Adrian, I don't know if Jan's talking about that with her or if she's talking about that with Avi.
Anyone.
Anyone? Okay.
That's it's a protection barrier, just like Garrett was talking about. He sees
Yeah, what Garrett said.
the light going over him. It's a visual to your mental boundaries. I mean,
So-
yes, you can do it mentally, but if it helps you to visualize it, it helps.
So for her, and what's worked for me in the past, and this is what's been helping her, is I tell her, like, usually we do it outside with our feet touching the ground, like bare feet touching the ground. Close your eyes and just like empty your mind out. Don't think about nothing. And then once that happens, imagine the thickest, most strongest walls going up and around your mind, and nobody can get into those. And she does that, and I tell her, when you're out and about, keep those up. When you're home with mommy, you're fine because mommy's blocks are down. Mommy will intervene before they get to you most of the time. And sometimes it gets like she'll get one of those powerful ones that bypass me that goes straight to her, and it's like, nuh-uh, dude, come back here. You're gonna deal with mama, and you're not dealing with the baby.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. Jan also said the white light will bounce the energy off of her. You could also do it where you stand in the middle of the house and you could put it over the house.
Yeah, boundaries. It's
Yeah.
it's boundaries. Visualization helps any way you can. It is wonderful. Jan is a lot more. She's done this all her life as well, and her
I'll be right
grandmother
back.
helped her.
I do a lot of cleansing of my home. And I do put a boundary around my home. I have learned, like, I'm self-taught for most of my stuff because, like I said, growing up, I thought I was alone in most of it. So I'm self-taught.
Thank you, baby.
And so, like with my dad, I put a boundary up around his house, just so that way I know she's protected at all times because she's homeschooled and I work during the day.
Right.
So I'm away from her, and it scares me. And usually when I'm at work, I'll check in on her because I can't astral project. And she has a friend named Adam, and he's been bugging her, I guess, and he's the only one that she'll let through her blocks. And most of the time, people would say, "Oh, they're imaginary friends." I've come to realize those are not imaginary friends.
Well, I mean, they're imaginary to other people, but they're certainly not imaginary to the one that sees them.
Right? So it's like,
oh, here we go. See, food.
Oh, he's so
This
cute.
is a border collie, and your collar's too tight. She's a border collie, and what the hell is she? Greyhound mix.
Oh,
Yes? Okay, you let your brother. Come on. This is a Dalmatian Labrador.
Oh, he's so cute.
He's the dumbest dog that's ever lived. Aren't you? You dumb.
And I do have my own show here on Things Network.
Down. Down. Go. There we go. Yeah, that's two of the three.
I have a Heinz 57 in the couch, in the cage.
All right. Linda, I'm going to let you answer Rich before I do.
I don't see the comment.
Is there any merit to putting religious things at the four corners of your home?
For the four corners of your home, I usually use cinnamon sticks.
Okay.
I used to put crosses, but now I don't, and I just use cinnamon sticks for the four corners.
Oh, is that to set up that barrier that we were just talking about?
Yeah. So, Rich, yes.
Oh, you already asked this question. Okay.
And by religious objects, depending on your religion. So let's say a pagan, Wiccan, whatever, is going to put salt around their home, cinnamon around their home. A Christian, it depends on their faith. They're all different. As far as like Jan said,
Iron ore.
has iron ore, blessed from a tribe.
Sage, rosemary, too.
Holy water. Okay, holy water. There we go.
And I got kind of a couple of the things too. Like I got holy water, I got some of the religious symbols, and I even have, of course, burning incense. Although I know people have different views on incense. I mean, I know the problem is you would have to use so much of it that it stinks up the room, and I don't think it's really particularly healthy. But I still use it for it's. Well, no, I was going to say even if it is, I still would use it anyway.
Well, here's the thing: it is intent.
Yeah.
What you believe in the strongest is your intention. I mean, if you believe in God, he's there. It's your intent. If you're Wiccan and you believe in the powers of the earth and the gods and goddesses, that's your intent. It all comes down to personal intent, and it all works the same.
Yeah, like I said, I use cinnamon for the four corners. I can't burn sage because it'll give me a migraine. So I'll burn cinnamon in my home to cleanse it.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, it makes this house smell good.
It does.
So
Palo Santo, can you use that?
yes, I can. Yep, I actually have some of that.
Jan just brought up another one that I was just thinking of. Do you have frankincense, lavender, sage?
Right. As a Catholic, they do the little. Jan, help me. What are the little things that they have the smoke in? They do that with, frankincense, lavender, myrrh, sage, all of it.
And say I'm not particularly like. So 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, my faith because I used to be a Christian. I was raised a Christian. My faith got altered quite a bit of different times, but 2 years ago, my faith completely diminished in believing in God.
Mm-hmm.
I prayed and prayed for him not to take my mom. My mom is my hero through and through. She's overcome so many battles in her life, and we lost her 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now I don't practice, but I do practice, if that makes sense. I'm still in my learning era. I'm still learning who I truly am in that sense.
Yeah.
So I love being outside at night under the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay. And I kept seeing this lady in white. Never could see her face, but like her gown was beautiful. And then I learned it was the moon goddess. So that is like kind of my faith now. I have the moon goddess, the moon, me being at night. I'm a night owl.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you about that, because I've been there and in a way am there. There's no one. You don't have to be one or the other, or, you can believe in a lot of things. And if you look at a lot of religions, they all connect, not as far as what they believe in, but as far as, there is a connection between pagan, Wiccan, Christian. We all burn sage. We all use oils. We all use crystals. There's you just kind of have to pick what's your happy medium. What is it works for you?
What works for me is the moon, being outside at night, and Luna. I have never felt like my true self and more calmer. And yeah, I'm still a spunky little, perky little girl. Anybody that knows me and like in my normal life will tell you that. But after I finally was like, okay, no, the moon that's me. And, putting my feet in the grass at night and just grounding myself and calming down.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of selenite. I do have a lot of crystals. I have a huge crystal collection.
Yeah.
That made me feel more of me than my previous beliefs.
Yeah, you weren't bound to rules, and that's the thing about, if you talk to Christians that have studied, there's lots of things in that Bible that are not. A man wrote it.
Yep.
I mean, men wrote it.
Yep.
The basis. Do I
It's
believe
changed.
there's God? Absolutely. Do I believe there's Jesus? Yes, of course he walked this earth. Did they do the things they said? I don't know. I can't believe that God would.
That's kind of it's kind of hard to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But there is a creator. Of course there is. We didn't get here, on our own. But, and that's a thing that we all have to find what resonates. And people are not as judgmental anymore as they used to be.
Right. And I don't push my beliefs on my kids. They believe in God. They're allowed to believe in whatever they want to believe in. And they know that. And it's like, okay, if you have questions, then if I can't answer it, if you have questions about God and the Bible and everything, go down to great grandma's house. She's a full-blown Christian. She'll be able to answer you because mom can't.
Right.
So it's always like, I'm the type of person for my kids is, if I can't find that answer myself, 99% of the time I do know somebody that will have that answer, and I can be like, hey, my little one wants to know this. How do I, respond in a kid way?
Yeah. And that doesn't end when you're an adult either. There's we always talk about your best friend is usually the opposite, so that you can get feedback from each other that is not like a mirror and kissing somebody's rear end. You can tell them the truth and they can tell you the truth.
We won't go to best friend subjects, please.
That's Jan. I can call her and go, what the hell? And she'll tell me the truth. Now, do I always like it? Absolutely not. But that's the way it is.
I lost my best friend at the beginning of this year, so.
What happened?
Not going into much detail. But Jeremy knows what happened. And
you said you lost her?
I lost her, but not to death.
Okay.
I'm not going to put names out there.
No.
That's understandable.
No.
But she walked out of my life. And that's all I'm going to say. Jeremy, if you're still watching, you can let them know in a private message. Or you guys can come to me directly and I can tell you. But it crushed my heart. Literally.
How long ago was that?
January.
Oh, so earlier this year.
Yeah.
So at this point, being how long it's been, do you feel like it's for the best, or do you still think
it's for the best.
Okay.
It's for the best. And the reason why I say that is because I have grown much more. I'm doing more of what my passion is, and that's history. I will say this: we did have a show on Things Network on Sunday nights. I had to stop the show for a while. It's been renamed to Haunted Memoirs. But I have grown as a person, and I have not let it get me down. I've had a great support system here in the paranormal community to help me get through that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that's always the most important part. And we've talked about this numerous times, when you have all the support throughout, the paranormal community, it's definitely, there's just something, so special about it when you have that support.
It is. And, support does not always mean that you need to, when you talk to somebody who needs the support in a situation like this, it doesn't always mean to badmouth the person that they were friends with, or that they're no longer friends with, or whatever the case might be. That it doesn't mean that. It means listen. It means listen and understand where they're coming from. A lot of times, badmouthing does not help anybody, because then the person that you're talking to feels like, well, was I that stupid that I didn't see any of this? Or was I, do you think that my friend was that awful? Or, was I just blind? They don't need any of that.
I can honestly say people in the paranormal community, they did warn me about it. I haven't been actively investigating since my ex-husband never let me do nothing with paranormal, because he was always afraid that I was going to bring something into the house and harm him. So from 2018 is when I started, and I had L&L Paranormal Investigations. I split it off with that person to focus on my history. And again, I met her actually through Para-Unity, but that event is close to my heart. That's my event.
Oh.
So they, the people that knew us, they tried to warn me. I didn't listen. And then people in my everyday life was like, hey, something is not right, Something is totally off. And I was like, I started to see similarities between what was happening with me and her and me and my ex-husband. So I started distancing myself, trying to figure out how I could just not hurt myself in the process.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that didn't happen. A week after my birthday, she walked out of my life, and it's been for the best. And it does hurt. It still hurts to this day. It took me a while to get I'm not completely over it, obviously, because me and her were like sisters. We were so close.
Yep.
But going from the beginning when it happened to now, it's the best thing that could have ever happened. I still have tears every once in a while because of it? Yes. Am I going to fully get over it? Probably not. And I'm not going to lie to anybody. Because I was so attached, and that was my person. I could call up any time.
Yep.
And then now it's nothing. And I have swore to myself that I am never getting that close to another person ever.
Don't do that. It is absolutely worth it when that person is the one that is supposed to be. You learned a lesson, whatever that might be. I don't know what it is, but you learned something. And you being an empath are a loving person.
Yes.
So it will happen again, and you will open your heart. Male, female does not make a bit of difference. You're going to open your heart. And every time we open our heart, we put ourselves out there as vulnerable.
Jan just wrote this. I wanted to share this, saying, Linda, I just put someone out the door also. Myself, Jeremy, and Adrian were there for me. It's rough when you're so comfortable with the person and have grown with them.
It is. It's very rough.
They know everything. They know your secrets. They know what you would do in a situation. They know what you would say in a situation.
And I've been through that situation too, obviously, as you know, a few times, Adrian. So, because I know you were there for that as well. But yeah, I know exactly what it was.
A very loving person. I will be there for anybody. I'm always, I tell everybody, that I'm close with, I'm just a phone call away. I'm a text message away. Like, so I do have another best friend, and I can honestly tell you, and I think he's pagan. I wouldn't say he's pagan. I can't, not 100%, but he's not in the paranormal community. And I have known him for like 14 years, and he is my male best friend. I know I could go to him. He's like my ride or die. He's never left me through anything. And I ran to him after everything happened, and I said, what did I do wrong? Because I honestly felt like I've done something wrong. And then after talking to my paranormal community and everything and finding out that I didn't do anything wrong, it wasn't me type of thing. And then I started realizing more and more that the toxic behavior was happening. I was so manipulated into thinking that this person was not who she said she was.
That's not manipulation. That's you opening up. That's you learning a life lesson with your soul contract. We all have them. Whether they're good, bad, ugly, or they stay around forever. That's your soul contract.
I learned a valuable lesson with this.
And that's what she was saying.
I know I say I'm never going to do it, but I do know that I'm going to open up my heart because that's who I am.
That's right.
But it's going to take a lot for my walls to come down. Are you a twin? Huh? Last time I checked, I'm not a twin. I don't think I'm a twin. Why? Do I need to go ask my dad a question?
Hey, what's up?
Well, Jeremy also, while we're waiting for that, Jeremy said we've all been used and we've all been manipulated.
And I gotta say, guys, Jeremy has been one of the biggest helps in all of this.
Yes, he is. Just don't make his head big, please. I have to deal with him.
He held my spot.
Says, no, you're okay. So.
Are you talking about my daughter? She looks almost just like me.
No,
literally.
That could be.
That's what that's the only thing I could think of. I can't think of anything else.
I say I have a brother, but I don't think I'm a twin because we were born 93 and 95. So
hey, my brother. Oh my God! I will say this.
Question.
I will say that that's funny you said because again, being born because I was born that same year, 93, and my brother was born 95. Maybe that's it.
So, no, I'm going to tell you the strangest twin story that I've ever heard. Hearing it would be one thing if I hadn't seen it. As you figured out, Jan and I are pretty much sisters.
That's what Nikki means.
Her boy comes and stays with me whenever he gets a chance. her little girl was finally old enough to come stay with me not long ago. She's 5. But her son, this boy, was a twin, but the other twin never made it. He absorbed the twin. So this
Did she
boy,
have a miscarriage?
oh yeah, but I guess it really would be, except one absorbed the other.
Ate him.
Yeah, he ate him. Yeah. So he has one brown eye, one blue eye.
Oh, that type. Yeah, that type of phenomenon.
He's got half of his brother and half of him. Now,
Yeah,
who?
yeah.
I don't know.
That reminds me of another. Sorry. Have you guys ever seen Darman?
No.
No, I haven't. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, so one of his actresses. Okay, so he's well known. He makes inspirational videos of all different types, and they're really good. Some of them will make you cry, but they're really good. One of his actresses has one blue eye, one brown eye.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? What was his name again?
Darman.
Doorman. Okay. No, I just need to know who the. But
A lot of people have that, but not from absorbing their twin.
I
Yeah,
didn't look into
yeah.
it, but that just reminded me. I was like, wait a minute, maybe. But yeah, I just had a miscarriage not too long ago,
Oh.
so maybe that's what she's getting. I don't know. I was about a month along.
Yeah, that's jeez. That's the only other possible explanation, but yeah.
Say I don't have a twin. I mean, I have a brother,
Right.
but
Unfortunately,
Oh,
though,
here's the other one. Here we go. Come on.
we'll make
Mike.
that. Unfortunately, though, we do have to cut this short because we are at the end of the time, getting close to the end of the time, or it's already past the end of time. But yeah, we'll make this quick.
Do we have another show behind us?
I would assume
right.
myth or
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, Jeremy just said it, myth or mystery.
He did?
Yeah, he just said it in the private chat.
Oh,
I'm not getting notifications. What?
You should be able to get that. It's on the right, on the bottom right where it says private chat.
well,
Yeah,
mine
mine's
is on the
top
bottom. It just says chat. So, thank you, Jan.
Well, just before we go, because I was gonna share this earlier, but I wanted to share this at least once just before we get off. Is Jeremy did send me the Para Unity poster, so here it is.
QR code.
Yeah. So that'll be October 19th once again in Peru, Indiana. I'm hoping to try to be there as well, but we'll see how my schedule is. But it looks like it's going to be another fun event, especially since it's just a few days right before Halloween. So it's
going to be a blast. I can tell you guys that much. It's going to be a blast. Like I said earlier, we are completely booked for the main building in the church. We are looking for outside vendors now. So.
Well, Linda, all I got to say is that this was definitely a great show, and we'll definitely have you back on because I think there's
Thank
actually
you.
a lot more to talk about with because there were the conversation going all different directions. I mean, we say this with a lot of our guests, but it just seems like there's so much more to talk about than what we just spoke about earlier this evening. So
there's always more to talk about. So
yeah,
and I will be willing to come on at any time. Just let me know. I would like to have an advance notice so I can let my boss know, hey, I got to be off by this time. So, but other than that, I'd be more
Linda,
happy to come back on.
Since you're a paranormal historian and just like me, you research a lot of history, not necessarily, but I haven't done this in a while, but I'm actually going to try to be bringing back my show, Nick Files. Like I said, I do a lot of history research on it. Some point you should check it out. You should check it out yourself and just see like the way how I do with history and whatnot. And that might give it might give you an additional idea when it comes to looking up history on certain locations or whatever. So that might be something you may want to check out when I bring back my Nick.
Definitely. And then I don't, Nick, you weren't present at this time, but I do. Before we go, I do have a show here on Things Network Saturday night
Yeah.
at 8:30. Haunted Memoirs, and so we could probably just bounce some ideas off of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jan also said if you ever need help, just hit her up.
And she
yeah,
is
definitely.
serious. She's amazing. She is amazing. She really is.
All right.
Was just talking with her just yesterday briefly, but that's another story.
Briefly, my ass. Neither one of you talk briefly.
Well, no, I was just it was a quick come and go message that we sent yesterday. So for next week, we have Lois Hatto from Scotland coming on. Obviously, I know I talk to her almost every day, but I don't know where this conversation is going to go since I talk to her every day. So, Adrian, you may have to be the one asking the questions for this one.
I got this. I really like her. I respect her.
I talk to her all the time, so that
I do not. So I will have a lot
exactly.
to ask.
So you'll have to probably have the upper hand because I don't know where I'd go for this with this show.
Just go like this, and I got this.
Jeremy, Jan, Nick conversation better bring a sleeping bag because it ain't gonna happen. And Jan, give her it was
What are
brief.
y'all talking about your briefs?
Wait, what's your brief? Because if it's an hour, that's not brief.
What
It
color
was
is
just-
your brief?
It was a simple type. It was a simple type message, not a video chat, Adrian.
Oh. Oh, so you sent her a picture of your briefs. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, you're hers tomorrow morning.
While I'm fishing, you can talk all you like.
Yep, that's it. She swears it. It was.
All right, y'all.
Anyways, yeah. But like I said, Linda, thanks again. Thank you once again. We'll have you back on.
Thank you.
And everyone who's tuned in, as Jeremy would say, thanks for playing along, and we'll see you guys next week. So you guys all have a great night.